Well, Sarah, thank you for agreeing to talk with me today about Bob and Lou's coffee shop. I'm dying to hear all about it and how you got in business. And let's just jump right in with our first question, which is, tell me about the business.
Yeah, so Bob and Lou's Coffee started as a vintage coffee camper. Last year, I started in August of 2020, so during the global pandemic. And I opened up with a 1968 vintage Forester coffee camper that was revamped into a coffee camper. So open up all around the Dubuque area. I travel to different businesses. I do a lot of schools. I do weddings, events, such as bridal showers, baby showers, graduation parties, you name it, we'll come to it. And just recently in December, we opened up our shop on University, next to the University of Dubuque, right to the left of Magoo's Pizza, because we had to winterize the camper. So we needed to keep our name out there. So we decided to open that up, and it was supposed to be temporary. It was supposed to end in May, and it actually did so well. We loved having it opened. I hired 6 new girls. So we decided to keep it open full time. So we are now running Bob and Lou's Coffee and Bob and Lou's Coffee Shop, and loving every minute of it.
Wow, that's a lot for someone who is obviously so young as you to get into. So, and wonderfully successful. I was by the coffee shop yesterday. Didn't stop in because I was tied up, but I'm going today for sure. Can you tell me a little bit about why you picked coffee to go into?
Yes. So I went to Iowa State University and I worked at a coffee shop there for 4 years during my time. And kind of that's where I really fell in love with coffee and working in the coffee atmosphere. I just loved the vibe of a coffee shop. Everyone's happy at a coffee shop. And after Iowa State, I moved to Los Angeles, California, where I interned out there. And I really got to get a feel for kind of those unique, quirky coffee shops that all had their very own different vibe or kind of atmosphere. And I really liked the uniqueness of all of them. They weren't all the same. And so I feel like I kind of found Bob and Lou's niche out there when I didn't even know that Bob and Lou's was really going to be a thing. And then I worked a corporate job in Des Moines, Iowa, where I was sitting in a cubicle, which is absolutely not for me. I feel like I was up talking to anyone that would talk to me more than I was probably getting most of my work done. And that's during my time there, I kind of still had the coffee shop in the back of my head that I wanted to do it. And really, was kind of figuring out how I could make it happen. I knew I would probably want to move back to Dubuque, where I was born and raised, and just figuring out exactly how to make it happen financially with only being 24, having student loans to pay off, having other, debts as a young 24-year-old. And so then came about the idea of going mobile from my sister. She was in Philadelphia at the time, and she was out with some friends, and there was another young girl who had her business in a mobile unit. And so she then called me and was like, why don't you go mobile? Why don't you get your name out there? And then eventually you can have your own brick and mortar someday. So.
Wow, I think that's really cool. Also cool that you're a local young person who's come back as a local older person. I love to see that. I think it has a lot to offer, and I'm always excited when other people see it as well. So you had a great experience, I think, setting you up for being in the coffee business. What was it like when you first started? Where did you go for advice? Did you find all the resources you needed to help you get started here?
So I went down to, it was like the Small Business Organization of Dubuque, and went down and kind of learned a lot about getting like my tax ID set up and all that. And they were just super helpful with all of that. And yeah, I mean, I'm very good. I'm not super shy at all. So I'm really good about reaching out if I have questions. I reached out to tons of different coffee campers or mobile coffee units not really within the area, but, New York, California, just reached out, said, how do I do this? What should I do? What did you do to start? Gotten a lot of good, like, small business owner, women entrepreneurship groups, and just used my resources, networked, met tons of people, and
wow. Well, that's good to hear too. Where did you get that unique name for your camper?
Yeah, so Bob and Lou's is named after my grandpa Bob and grandma Mary Lou, who were kind of the avid coffee drinkers of the family. I had known for about a year prior to opening what I wanted the name to be. My family was all out to dinner, and we were kind of brainstorming different ideas, because I knew I wanted to start with a name to kind of form it all together. And so I knew for quite some time. I hadn't told anyone. And about a month before I launched on social media, I sat my grandma and grandpa down and had custom mugs made with the logo on it, and presented it to them and told them that it was named after them. And they've been customers ever since.
Wow, that's so cool. I have to tell you though, I have not been to the camper, but am really looking forward to it. I know you were at Exit Realty just last week, and I couldn't get there early enough, but I kind of expected it, grandma and grandpa to be serving coffee there too.
No,
So, but they're not your not your employees, at least not
no,
yet.
they're not.
So, what would your customers say they love about what you do?
I think they would say the atmosphere. We're definitely a family. I always call it the Bob and Lou's family. So anyone who walks up to the shop or the camper, you're probably gonna get talked to for about 5 minutes, because me and all my employees are definitely chatty. We love to get to know our customers. We're not just serving you coffee, we're serving you the experience as well.
Oh, that is just great.
Yes.
Yeah, and that would really, I guess that would feel a lot different than if you're just going to kind of a corporate coffee shop, wouldn't it? People who are friendly and who want to get to know you. That's a wonderful thing. Have you had any customer requests or unusual experiences in your coffee shop that you can tell us about?
Nothing super crazy of requests. We were at Ragbri, about an hour away, serving all of the bicyclists, families, etc. And there must have been some rumor, something in the air going around that we serve hot dogs too, because we had about 3 or 4 people order hot dogs at our window. And the first guy who came up, I was like, thought he was kidding, joking. So made his coffee that he ordered, served it to him, and he said, "Oh, what about my hot dog?" And I kind of chuckled. I was like, "We don't have hot dogs." So that's the only kind of weird thing we've gotten.
Wow. And we had, so definitely you don't serve hot dogs, but do you serve like scones or, I don't know, blueberry muffins or donuts?
We don't yet. I actually worked for a baker for about the past 6 or 7 years as her baker assistant. So she is working on building her own bakery, getting the licensing for that. And I hope to someday serve all of her goodies as well out of our shop and camper, possibly.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm retired from my day job now and do real estate. But when I had a day job, one of my tricks, which I'm sure everybody always saw through, was to stop and pick up some really good coffee and some treats for the office and say, "Oh, hey, I'm late because I stopped to pick these things up." So, yep, I would do that. I would do that in a heartbeat. What is one thing that people don't know about your business?
One thing that people don't know. I think that we do some of the events we do. We're kind of digging a little bit more into that. This year we've had quite a few more, but the weddings, the graduation parties, bridal showers. But again, that's with us sharing it on social media and showing people, hey, we do this too. We don't just drive around. So that's kind of something I would like to push more that we do and get more
Mhm.
on like the event side of things with the camper, and then just have the shop for serving people. So
Right, right.
yeah,
So, do you get a lot of requests for your camper to be on site
we
and
do. We get
available?
about 20 to 30 emails a week. We're actually fully booked for the rest of this camper season. So now
No
it's just
kidding.
responding to emails and saying, we're fully booked. Reach out again in April and get on our calendar next year.
Maybe you'll need to get a bigger camper, I think.
Or another of me.
Or another of you. That's right. That's right. So if I did want to contact you, can you tell me all the ways that I could contact you to get on your schedule for next year?
Yep. So we are on Instagram. It's at Bob and Lou's. And that's where you can see every Sunday we post our weekly schedule for the camper. So that's how you can find where the camper will be at.
Mhm.
And then, we post tons of fun pictures. If you share our Instagram handle on your story with like a Bob and Lou's cup, Bob and Lou's merch, every single month we do a giveaway for a $25 gift card. So if you tag us, you get entered to win that. So that's kind of a fun little Instagram tip from us. And then we are
Okay.
also on Facebook, which is also at Bob and Lou's. And then if you are wanting to reach out for an event to get on our calendar with the camper, you can email bobandlou'scoffee@gmail.com as well.